Good afternoon. Don't they sound great? All right. Please be seated. Distinguished faculty and staff, members of the Board of Trustees, family and friends, and most of all, graduates, welcome to the 2025 Mason Gross School of the Arts Commencement Ceremony. Four years ago, when for most of you this journey began, you were joining Rutgers at a time of mask mandates and other COVID restrictions, just as campus was beginning to be repopulated after an extended period of remote learning, and in the case of Mason Gross, Zoom performances and shows without audiences. Right from the start, you learned a thing or two about resilience, flexibility, and adaptation, and ever since, it seems like you've been honing those skills as you looked ahead to this day. Along the way, you've seen wars in Europe and the Middle East, campus unrest, and sweeping advances in generative AI. As a sign of just how much things have changed during your time here at Rutgers, we've gone from the faculty complaining about students using ChatGPT to the students complaining about the faculty using it. And if you think I'm kidding, look up the story of a Northeastern University student who's trying to get the university to refund her tuition for a course in which she claimed the professor relied too heavily on ChatGPT. So yes, a lot has happened in the span of your time here at Mason Gross, but you know what? You've made it. And today, we're here to celebrate you and all your success as we send you out into the world to build on the many lessons you've learned. Commencement, of course, is a time when we not only reflect back on the road that has led us here, but also a time during which we look forward with optimism and hope for the future, inspired by the wisdom and insight shared by those who gather alongside us. And here, we're especially fortunate to have with us the leader of Rutgers New Brunswick, Chancellor Francine Conway, an internationally recognized child psychologist and former dean of the Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology. Dr. Conway is a dynamic and visionary leader who is challenging Rutgers New Brunswick to think in bold and creative ways about the future of education. And we're thrilled that she's here with us to offer some congratulatory remarks to the Mason Gross class of 2025. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Francine Conway.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Gary. Thank you for your warm welcome, for your bold leadership, and for the extraordinary legacy that you are leaving for Mason Gross. You have worn many hats: Senior Vice Provost, incoming Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor, and of course, beloved Dean of the Mason Gross School of the Arts. You are living proof that excellence and creativity can walk hand in hand, and today we honor that spirit. So congratulations. And now a heartfelt welcome to all who have gathered with us, friends of Mason Gross, supporters of Rutgers, members of the Board of Governors and Trustees, representatives of the Rutgers Foundation and Alumni Association, our colleagues, our mentors, our community. Above all, I welcome those at the heart of this celebration, our graduates, and the families, loved ones, and champions who've stood beside you every step of the way. Congratulations, class of 2025. Now, today is more than a ceremony. It's a turning point, a powerful pause, a marker of how far you have come and how far you are destined to go. Graduation is not just a conclusion, it's a beginning, a springboard into the future. You are uniquely prepared to shape that future. You leave this place with an education that is rigorous and rich and real from one of the nation's leading public research universities. But you carry something even more rare: the courage to create, the drive to question, the heart to feel deeply and to express boldly. At Mason Gross, you have done more than master your craft. You have embraced the messy, the magical, the demanding processes of being yourself. You've created in rehearsal studios and galleries, in theaters and classrooms, and late-night revisions. You've wrestled with ideas. You've collaborated with vulnerability and trust. You have made meaning through your art, your scholarship, and your very presence. And beyond our campus and the world that you will explore. Through internships and research, even study abroad, I had the privilege of attending some of your performances at the Globe Theatre in London. You have really tested your ideas in real time and have grown. You've built the tools you need, not just to succeed, but to lead. But today I want to shine some light on an extraordinary capacity you've been developing all along, even though you may not have realized it. As a psychologist, I call it mentalization. It's the ability to understand your own inner world and imagine the inner world of someone else, to see others from the inside out and yourself from the outside in. This skill, this gift, is the heart of human connection. It's more than empathy. It's the power behind every meaningful interaction, every courageous collaboration, every work of art that reaches out and touches someone. Mentalization is essential in every field, but in the arts, it's your superpower. You're quite literally professional mentalizers. You step into others' lives. You score the soundtrack of unseen emotions. You choreograph the dance between tension and release. You take what is invisible and make it visible. And in so doing, you help people see themselves and each other clearly. In a world that too often divides and disconnects, your artistry connects, your imagination rebuilds, and your voice, yes, your voice heals. So today, we celebrate all that you have done, all that you are. You've weathered a global pandemic, as your dean stated, and still you rose. You created, collaborated, and held fast to your vision. And today, class of 2025, you have made it. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chancellor Conway, for being here and sharing those inspiring words. Before I introduce this year's student speaker and distinguished guest speaker, I want to take a few moments to offer some thoughts about the significance of this milestone and the responsibilities you have as you go forth into the world as graduates of Mason Gross School of the Arts. You're sitting here at commencement, about to walk across the stage and receive your degree, or at the very least, you're here hoping and praying that you've passed that one last class so that you can graduate. And because you're here today, that means you owe a debt of gratitude to those who've helped you make it to this point, whether financially, emotionally, or academically. It might have been that professor or staff member who went the extra mile when you were struggling, your partner, your parents, or another family member who held you up when you thought you were going to fall. Or maybe even that uncle who drinks just a little bit too much at Thanksgiving and wondered aloud what in the world you were going to do with a degree in the arts, but lent support in his own special way. Or more likely, some combination of the above. Whoever it was for you, let's take a moment collectively to show our gratitude and express our deep, sincere, and abiding appreciation. Now, to that question of what comes next. What will you do with your degree in the arts? Some of you already have your next steps mapped out. A steady teaching position, that long-awaited industry job, or a round of auditions to launch your professional career. Others of you haven't yet answered that question, what's next for me? And may be feeling a little anxious. And to you, I would say, it's way too early to despair. Wait until tomorrow when all of this is over and reality sets in. Then you can start to panic. In all seriousness, though, when I look out at a world filled with division and conflict, I see a world that's crying out for the arts and for everything that you have to offer. That's the challenge for you as you consider as you leave Mason Gross. How are you going to wield the powerful tools that you have at your disposal to help solve the many problems that the world faces? So often we're plagued by an inability to recognize, let alone acknowledge, each other's humanity. This is especially true when it comes to demonizing the other, and we're living in a moment when that impulse is manifesting in ways that are highly charged and especially painful. And while the work that we do as artists won't resolve global conflicts or bring an end to devastating wars, what it can do is help us forge deep and meaningful connections among one another by reminding us what it means to be human, to love, to grieve, to feel joy, to feel pain, and maybe most important of all, to feel empathy, to get some inkling of what it's like to experience life from someone else's vantage point. It's empathy that we need so much more of in the world today, and that leads us one small step, one individual at a time, towards solving those big challenges we face as a global society. Now look, I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know about the role of the arts. I'm just here to remind you how powerful, how meaningful, and how necessary what you do is. But ultimately, The proof is in the work that you do and the impact that you have, whether here at Rutgers, in the surrounding community, or across the globe. Take, for example, graduating senior Connor Morrissey, a composition major in the music department who recently spent 10 days studying sacred music at the Vatican on a grant from the Honors College, where he's also a student. This research was part of his senior thesis, and while in Rome, Connor observed rehearsals of the Sistine Chapel Choir, met the director of the Pontifical Institute of Sacred Music, and interviewed seminarians at the Venerable English College, a seminary that dates all the way back to the late 1500s. And knowing Connor, it wouldn't even surprise me to learn that the presence of this talented young composer at the Vatican helped pave the way for the first American pope in history. But either way, Connor's work demonstrates the commitment to excellence that defines our student body, and that in Connor's case will help prepare him as he goes off to Notre Dame to begin work toward a master's degree in sacred music. Or consider the work of Chloe Hovanyets, a senior graduating with a degree in filmmaking. Chloe made a film for her final project in a course on community-engaged filmmaking called Can You Tell Me What's Playing This Weekend?, which documents her experience working at a small independent movie theater in New Jersey. What's notable about this documentary is that it's shot on Super 8mm film. Now, some of you are old enough to remember, right, the Kodak Super 8. And this results in this grainy, halting quality that has the effect of evoking the past in a way that's almost nostalgic. What's more, the work is co-created by Chloe and staff members who work at the theater, with the result being a loving portrayal of community rooted in art and a commitment to its preservation. Chloe's film not only embodies our commitment at Mason Gross to using art as a means of engaging communities, but it also reminds us of the power inherent in shared human experiences. These are just two examples of the countless stories that I could tell about the impact of your work, both individually and collectively. What these stories help demonstrate is the way in which the arts touch so many aspects of our lives, open our minds to new ways of thinking, create a sense of community, and remind us that in spite all our apparent differences, there's ultimately so much more that binds us together, if only we take the time to see it. And that's why the world so desperately needs your art, your scholarship, your creativity, your passion. So ask yourself, how will I use this powerful tool at my disposal? How will I harness my creativity and knowledge to make a positive impact on the world around me? Whether the impact you seek is global or local, never forget your responsibility to be artist citizens who are engaged socially and who recognize the transformative role of the arts. Remember, too, that the future of the arts will be determined by the stories you tell, the communities you engage, and the change that you inspire. While the challenges may be great, the opportunities are even greater. And I'm confident that you possess the talent and the vision to bring healing and empathy to a world that so desperately needs it. So go forth and embrace the future with passion and with purpose. And congratulations, Mason Gross, class of 2025. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Molly Mockenturf, the graduating student who has been chosen to address the class of 2025. Molly will be receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in acting, summa cum laude. Originally from Georgia, Molly is an actor and writer with a passion for storytelling and travel, and during her time at Mason Gross has performed in 3 states and 4 different countries. Among the productions she has been in while at Rutgers are Life is a Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, and Romeo and Juliet, in which she played the role of Juliet. This spring, Molly will be performing in Guanahani at Theater Lab in New York City. Please welcome your Mason Gross Class of 2025 student speaker, Molly McInturf.
Hello and welcome to the graduating class of 2025. It is an honor to be standing here before you all today. It is a privilege to speak to one's peers in any case, but especially in a case such as mine when those peers just so happen to be the next generation of artists. I want to begin on behalf of my classmates in thanking all of the faculty, counselors, friends, families, and mentors that have helped us to this moment. And if you'll allow me for my own part, I would like to extend a special thanks to my grandparents who first filled my love for storytelling, my dad who filled my house with books, and my mom who has been my constant rock and support through all of my time here, my sisters who were my original company members. Mason Gross is a truly unique community. I can't really think of anywhere else where you can find two actors yelling back and forth the same sentence, while four boys play the trumpet in each other's faces, and a stage manager wonders why exactly they chose the artistic community of New Gibbons all in one basement. As silly as it may be, I think this is exactly what makes our school so special and the connections from it so unique. It is a shared language and a sense of understanding when you begin to realize how similar Meisner is to jazz music or modern dances to painting. It is the unifying of a group of people who, though they may have found different ways to express it, see the world in such shades of specificity it has to be shared to be explained. And though it may not always be all of us sitting around Bet and Bender Plaza together, as we are all far too busy for that kind of free time, it is a sense of seeing and being seen that comes from connecting with other artists, one that furthers our understanding of our own craft that makes this school so special and so special to me. When I first found out I had been accepted into Rutgers, in all honesty, I remember being terrified. I remember specifically sitting with my parents and them asking me why, what was making me unsure. It's a great program. I had done a program here right after my freshman year of high school, RSAC, and there had been this panel of alumni. And I remember asking one of them what their experience was, and all of them shared kind of a knowing look and smile, and then looked back at me, and they said, Mason Gross, it'll push you hard. And I remember being frightened by this, that it would take the love away. But I remember my dad saying, the power of passion isn't shown when something's easy, and growth does not come without challenge. That being an artist would require the kind of tenacity a challenging program could build. I'm not sure anyone who attends Mason Gross would call it easy. In fact, I think they'd say the opposite. But it is my belief that the power of this program comes from the challenge. It comes from a group of people like you all who choose a rigorous program and an even more difficult career, who pour your hearts out late into the night in dance rehearsals and shop hours and 3 or 4 of the many, many, many brass ensembles. I don't know how you keep up with the acronyms, seriously. Then come in fresh at 8 a.m. the next morning to start again. It is in the professors who commute, sometimes hours, but will always stay longer to support you. And it is in the community of artists who choose the joy, the journey, and the challenge of attempting to attend a football game while in a conservatory-style program. It is in the strength to choose the unconventional path, to live a life that your 8-year-old self would be proud of. That is what I believe we will carry with us as we step into the professional world of artistry. We are all graduating in a very particular time in history, a time when the strength, resilience, and joy in our artistry we have fostered here will be all too important. At pivotal points such as this, I think it is more important than ever to remember what exactly it is we do art for. I want you to take a moment and remember the moment you first fell in love with what we do. The time you first fell into a story, when you first saw the lights rise on a ballet, the second the orchestra expanded through the soles of your feet, the moment you first became lost in it. That need to create is insatiable, and it is magical, and it is so deeply human that it can only emerge from truth. As we step forward, onward into whatever may come next, I hope we keep that moment in mind. I hope we devise art for connection and for change and for that young person who first became entranced in creation. An old mentor of mine used to say of art, it is throwing yourself off a cliff without reaching for an olive branch. I think there is magic in art, and therefore in all of you. It takes a superior amount of courage to fight to believe in that magic, but what is unlikely, unimaginable, and near unreal is the foundation of creation and humanity, and therefore of what we do. And you all have the special ability to fight for that, to create that, to move and connect people, and to be in conversation with an ever-changing world. And if we're lucky, if we create from that place of generosity and curiosity and truth, we may just find ourselves being the person that makes that some young someone fall in love with creation for the first time too. So go forward boldly, truthfully, and expansively into whatever may come next. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Molly. That was wonderful, and you did a terrific job representing the class of 2025. One more time, let's hear it for Molly McIntyre. Christopher Marcus is one of the most prominent screenwriters working in Hollywood today. He's best known for his contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in particular those in collaboration with fellow screenwriter Stephen McFeely. Together, the duo has written some of the most recognizable and successful films in the series, including Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and Captain America: Civil War, which have earned critical acclaim for storytelling and character development. Chris also co-wrote the wildly successful Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame, the latter constituting the second highest grossing film of all time. So, you know, a few films you might have heard of, right? All told, Chris is the co-writer of 14 produced films that include, beyond the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Chronicles of Narnia trilogy, such cult favorites as You Kill Me and Pain and Gain, and the recently released The Electric State, starring Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, and Woody Harrelson. Chris's body of work makes him the second highest grossing screenwriter of all time, and he's also the winner of an Emmy and Writers Guild Award for his work on the 2004 film, The Life and Death of Peter Sellers. Currently, Chris is at work writing and producing a new series for Netflix. Originally from Buffalo, New York, Chris is one of our own, an alumnus of Rutgers University, having received a BA in English from Rutgers College in 1991, after which he went on to earn a master's in creative writing from UC Davis. And many of the filmmaking students here will remember a stimulating Q&A session that Chris offered during a visit back to his alma mater a year and a half ago, and I was so thrilled when Chris agreed to take time out of his busy schedule to fly across the country and share some of his insights with our graduating class. So without further ado, please welcome your 2025 Mason Gross Commencement speaker, Christopher Marcus.
Oh, hi. Excuse me. This thing is a nightmare. Okay. Painters, actors, dancers, designers, writers, directors, cinematographers, cartoonists, Conductors, composers, conceptualists, sculptors, musicians, educators, multimedia artists, interdisciplinarians, bachelors, masters, doctors. You made it. After 2 or 4 or 6 or more years of long days, late nights, wild passion, intense boredom, creative blocks, visionary breakthroughs, heady conversations, drunken ramblings, wild successes, abject failures, dreams, nightmares, elation, and depression, you're here. Graduation. You did it. You're done. School's out. You should be very, very proud of yourselves. Congratulations. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I'd like to move on to something really important. Me and how I feel. And how I feel is intimidated, out of place, and basically fundamentally uncool. In fact, when I was first contacted about being the commencement speaker for Mason Gross, my one overriding thought was, oh, I guess Oscar nominee and actual Mason Gross graduate Sebastian Stan must have been busy. Because, see, I didn't go to Mason Gross. I went to Rutgers College. I was an English major. And to me, back then, Mason Gross students were essentially terrifying. They had the black clothes, the black boots, the dyed hair so rigidly lacquered that it crossed the line from fashion into architecture. They all looked like they played bass for The Cure, and I looked like I played a word processor alone in my room. They had attitude and mystery, always carrying portfolios and heading off in the dark to their studios and black box theaters to do work and presumably other things until dawn. I got the impression that Mason Gross students spent a lot more time in New York City than I did, if not physically, then at least attitudinally. And after 34 years, I'm finally willing to admit I was maybe just a little jealous. So to be here addressing you all is to me a great honor, a personal triumph, and perhaps a form of revenge. Because at least part of me has always been an artist too. I just took a different path. Of course, if I was going to Rutgers now, that path would be available to me at Mason Gross because now you've got a film school. You actually teach what I do for a living, which is fantastic, mostly. Because now you Mason Gross kids are not only cooler, artier, edgier, and indeed younger than I am, you're also far better trained in the art of filmmaking, and you're about to be released into the marketplace. That's just great. No, really, congratulations. Sincerely though, this is a marvelous day. A day to pause and feel the weight and meaning of your achievements, to allow that ever self-critical artist's ego to take genuine pleasure in your accomplishments and the extraordinary personal evolution you went through to get here. It's a good day. But it's not the best day. Not even close. I don't know what the best day is, but my wish for you all is that you never get there. Because unless the best day of your life is the last day of your life, there will then necessarily be a next day of your life, and by definition, it and every day afterward will be worse than what came before. Which is all an overcomplicated way of saying, don't peak too soon. In fact, if you can help it, don't peak at all. You're artists, you don't have to. Consider, if you will, my own trajectory. When I graduated in 1991, deemed a fully educated adult by the great state of New Jersey, I packed my bags and shot like a rocket right back into my parents' house. I took my bachelor's degree in English and my folder of very serious short stories and promptly got a $4.75 an hour job working the evening shift at the front desk of a rundown hotel in Buffalo. I even got held up at gunpoint and then kept working there for 5 more months. Say what you will, but I was nailing that not peaking too soon thing. I didn't let it get me down, though. I did what any classically educated, creatively minded young person might do in my situation. I dug deep, I considered my options, and I got the hell out of real life straight into graduate school. And thank God for that. We all need time to marinate and drink and have ill-advised relationships and write even more very serious short stories. Of course, meanwhile, a guy I'd lived with in the Demarest creative writing section published his first book and was beginning another, which would subsequently win the Pulitzer Prize. I comforted myself with the knowledge that I was still hard at work fulfilling the prime directive of avoiding an early climax, so to speak. Eventually, though, my 2 years were up, and much like the ghost of Christmas yet to come, reality was crooking its bony finger at me. Luckily, though, I'd made friends with a fellow writer with similar bafflement in regard to the future. We knew that 9-to-5 jobs were the enemy of creative writing, but also that creative writing was beginning to seem like the enemy of minor matters such as paying for food. So we went where many before us who simultaneously feared steady work and abject starvation had gone: Hollywood, California. Not with fame or wealth or even artistic satisfaction as our goal. We simply wanted to do the thing we were good at for a modest living. And eventually, after getting up at 5:30 every morning to write before going to the menial jobs we did indeed have to initially get, we began to do just that. We got an agent and he got us a job, writing. Now, in Hollywood, there's a concept known as the Writers Guild Minimum, which is the lowest allowable salary a company can pay a WGA member. If an independent producer can't afford to pay that amount, they have to look elsewhere. And we, having so far successfully avoided that peak I've been mentioning, were definitely elsewhere. So we got paid next to nothing to sit in our depressing apartment and write draft after draft of this weirdly compelling true crime story. And we loved it. We were working, affording food, and spending our days learning a craft alongside passionate people who genuinely wanted to make something good. And we did. Write a script, which was good, and never got made. We then went around town with a talking dog pitch, then almost gave up and moved back in with our respective parents. Plucky youngsters that we were, though, we changed agents, got another job writing a movie that this time really did get made. We went to Cannes, we bought tuxedos, we won awards. It was swell. But it wasn't the peak. See, that script got us a meeting with the director who needed a character pass on this big fantasy movie based on a book series we'd both read as kids. And so we went through the wardrobe into Narnia and stayed there for 3 movies. Which was also not the peak, fun though it was, because that experience handling big budget spectacles made us not unreasonable candidates to meet with this pokey little startup company trying to make movies out of old comic books. 10 years and 6 films later, Avengers Endgame became the most successful film in history. Again, cool. I'm totally not complaining. But it still wasn't the peak, because I won't let it be. See, worming through my brain all that time, then and now, day and night, is this perverse yet strangely inspiring line of thought. When are you going to do the real work? When are you going to write for you and not them? When are you going to unlock the basement and let the weird little gremlins out to play? Well, more and more, that's what I'm trying to do. I might fail, I might succeed, but I honestly hope I don't peak. Because I want to know that tomorrow my work might be better, might be weirder, might bring more happiness or inspiration or terror or laughter or some new combination of all of them into the world. Inspiration combined with repetition, combined with a crucial level of lack of any better ideas of what to do with your life. That's how a hobby becomes a major, becomes a career, becomes a permanent vocation. Artist, no matter which discipline you choose, is not a job description, it's a calling. It's not what you do, it's who you are. It's the way you live, the way you love, the way you see the world. And that has no end point. You don't claw your way up the ladder to become vice president of art, then retire. It's a pursuit, one which evolves and even improves as you age. Every moment of your life, be it good, bad, or brutally mundane, is the raw material for your art. It's a responsibility, it's an opportunity, and it's a superpower. Because you don't just live in reality, you live outside of it, observing, translating, questioning, and understanding, surviving as only the artist can. Somerset Maugham wrote this in his 1925 novel, The Painted Veil. I have an idea that the only thing which makes it possible to regard the world we live in without disgust is the beauty which now and then men, and forgive the gendering, it was 100 years ago, men create out of chaos. The pictures they paint, the music they compose, the books they write, and the lives they lead. Of all of these, the richest in beauty is the beautiful life. That is the perfect work of art. And that's what I wish for you all, a beautiful life. Of course, that doesn't mean everything can be all lollipops and rainbows. When you invite your beloved friend Art to the party, you always have to be ready for Art to bring along its eternal +1, Gary the existential void. But odds are you've met Gary before. Odds are, artist that you are, you've been flirting with the void since preschool. Which, I can tell you, gives you great armor for the ups and downs of existence. You can't have a midlife crisis when you've been having a daily one since you were 6. But there is an upside to artists being cursed with the touch of adulthood when they're children, and that's that they often wind up being a little more childlike when they're adults. I say childlike, not childish, though they may occasionally overlap. What I mean is that children are open, children can dream, children can make something out of nothing. They're joyfully nonsensical and nonsensically joyful. Children are artists. So do me a favor and don't grow up. At least not entirely, okay? Because more than ever, we need artists, people whose open minds and electrified souls can see past the surface of reality and on into something deeper, something closer to the truth as it is or as it should be. By choosing art, by choosing creativity as your life's path, you keep burning the flame of the individual human imagination. For that, I thank you. Because unfortunately, we live in a world that doesn't always want that light in its eyes. Our current world is one in which constant external opinion and instant internal gratification are considered the essential drip feed for humanity. Every human impulse must be measured, monetized, and ground into an algorithmically digestible data slurry feeding directly into the almighty billionaire-making machine. We then must obediently jam our eyes, ears, and assorted other orifices full of texts, updates, emails, and notifications to judge the value of our day by the amount of times the evil little box in our pocket dings. Because God forbid we become aware of the voice in our head, quiet at first but louder the more you listen to it, which is telling us to stop, to shut the damn things off even for a minute, so that we're able to locate that beautiful human impulse within us and turn it into art, which is dangerous to the powers that be. See, They don't like art, they like content, which is, of course, all the more reason to make art. Art requires both the creator and the observer to slow down, to not know right away what it is and what it's worth, to be there not for the answer but for the question, the mystery, not the solution, to make mistakes and stand in wonder of what happens when we make them, to see through what we're told all the way into what we feel, to bring something new into the world and in doing so, change the world. The playwright Bertolt Brecht said, "Art is not a mirror held up to reality, but a hammer with which to shape it." God damn right, Bertolt. So remember that. You all have hammers in your hands, and a hammer can be both a tool and a weapon. It can bend metal and minds, drive home nails and points, smash the glass to get to the fire alarm, or shatter a painted-over window to finally let the sun shine into the darkness. But hold on, I hear you saying. All of this self-righteous reality smashing is pretty easy for Mr. Hollywood to say after he spent several decades fundamentally not overthrowing the dominant paradigm. And yes, there have been compromises. Like it or not, money is important because lack of money is very distracting, as is lack of food, shelter, and clothing. You too will likely have to compromise. But let me arm you beforehand with the two most important words I've learned over the course of my time in the gold-painted trenches of the entertainment industry. Yes and no. Without them, I'd be sunk, artless, and broke, probably also single, and definitely not here talking to you. Let me give some examples. If an opportunity arises which might pay enough money to cover this month's rent, say yes. If it requires you to permanently prostitute your very soul, say no. If said soul prostitution is temporary, reevaluate. If the opportunity might take you into a realm of work you've never explored before, even if it's not quite in your creative wheelhouse, say yes. If it's asking you to duplicate a previous success ad infinitum until you no longer recognize the grizzled fright mask staring back at you from the bathroom mirror, I'm just saying maybe consider no. You always have a choice. And I wish I could tell you that you'll always know the right one, but you won't. I can say, hold on to your vision, your instincts, your own personal you. But I know all too well that there have been times in my own life when the absolute best decision was to shut up, listen, and let someone else's genius take a turn at the wheel. At least then you can blame them when it all goes wrong. We can't really know what's going to matter in life, what choice is the choice. But that uncertainty is the water in which you, the artist, swims. An artist isn't a person who knows what's going to happen and what they're going to do about it. An artist is a person who has trained themselves to be comfortable with not knowing and yet still purposely goes forward to explore. It brings to mind the old saw of the difference between bravery and courage. The basic idea being that bravery is acting without fear and courage is acting despite it. The person who stomps into a perilous situation without fear, positive that their bullheaded righteousness will see them through, that isn't a hero. That's a sociopath. They're a danger to themselves and others, and they should under no circumstances be elected to higher office. But the person who steps into peril, not knowing the outcome, fully acknowledging that they might be about to, if not die, at least make an enormous ass of themselves, that's a hero. That's an artist. Artists try and fail and try and fail again. Sometimes they succeed, yes, but it almost doesn't matter because a disaster is really just a different kind of art and sometimes more interesting at that. If you asked me whether I'd rather go to dinner with 5 struggling artists or 10 successful business people, I'd take the struggling artists every time. I might have to pick up the check, but the conversation would be delightful. That being said, I very much want you to succeed. And both history and I know you will, despite any and all obstacles that might get tossed in your way by sweaty little boss babies who think cutting arts funding makes the tragic remains of their manhood look slightly less withered. Quick. Who was president when Mary Cassatt had her first exhibition? Who was the richest man in the world when Stanley Kubrick made Dr. Strangelove? Who had the most likes on Instagram the day Mozart was born? Okay, the last one doesn't really make sense, but you get what I'm saying. Power shifts. Money evaporates. Empires crumble. Tyrants die. But art goes on forever. Now, as I think I remember implying earlier, I've recently made some changes in my own career. I've stepped away from the security of the known and onto what some might call a risky creative path. If I can phrase it in the 4 words that strike the deepest chill into an agent's heart, I've decided to spend some time doing my own stuff. I've loved most of my career so far, but I also find I can no longer sublimate my craving to feed that weird worm within me. And I'm excited, occasionally terrified, sure. But that just makes it more exciting because I genuinely don't know what might be lurking out there in the fog of creation. Could be a bottomless pit, could be an Oscar, could be a turkey sandwich. I don't know. But the point is, I'm free, more or less. And freedom isn't knowing exactly where you're going, it's not knowing and going anyway. Open to the unexpected wonder of what you might find when you get there. So, in closing, I'll tell you what, Mason Gross graduating class of 2025, I will make a deal with you. If you keep going, keep creating, keep risking, keep picking up that hammer and forging your own reality, then I will too. And together, maybe we can make this world a more fascinating, intelligent, surprising, kinder, and let's be honest, cooler place than we currently find it. The future is right through those doors. And I can't wait to see what new shapes you smash it into. Thanks, and good luck.
Thank you, Chris, for that whimsical, insightful journey that you provided us. So, recognizing the crucial role that faculty play in shaping our graduates, we take a few minutes during this ceremony to acknowledge those members of our full-time faculty who are retiring this year. And I'm going to begin with Professor Natalie Bookchin, who is, and stand up if you're here and be acknowledged, stand up. Professor Natalie Bookchin is an interdisciplinary multimedia artist whose work has been shown at prestigious venues the world over, including the MoMA, the Tate, and the Whitney, and whose work has been awarded with the Guggenheim, Rockefeller, and MacArthur grants, among others. She joined Mason Gross in 2014 and was instrumental in integrating media into the undergraduate foundation's curriculum. Professor Bookchin has also served as graduate director of the Department of Art and Design and has generally been an extraordinary mentor and colleague. Congratulations, Natalie, you will be missed. Now, in a late-breaking development, I just want to acknowledge, I don't know if Jen is here, just want to take a moment to, can we just applaud Jen Stoffer, who is also retiring? Thank you. Professor Stephen Westphal, celebrated for his abstract paintings, has worked in the permanent collections of the Whitney, the MoMA, the Albertina in Vienna, and the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, as well as large public works on view at a Queens subway station and here on campus. He's been recognized by the National Endowment for the Arts, the American Academy of Arts and Letters, the Guggenheim Foundation, and the American Academy in Rome. At Rutgers since 2006, Professor Westphal has served as both undergraduate and graduate director and has been a generous teacher, colleague, and mentor. Congratulations, Stephen, and best wishes. Please stand up and be acknowledged. Professor John Yao, a poet and art critic, has published over 50 books of poetry, fiction, and art criticism. He's received grants from the National Endowment for the Arts, the Academy of American Poets, and the Guggenheim Foundation, and was named a Chevalier in the Order of Arts and Letters by the country of France. Professor Yao joined the Art and Design faculty in 2004, offering undergraduate and graduate courses that have been springboards for students to deploy writing as part of their creative practice. Congratulations, John. I don't think John is here, but we'll recognize him in absentia. At this time, I'm pleased to announce the departmental awards, which will be given by the department chairs and directors, assisted by Annabelle Liu, the Associate Dean for Finance and Administration. The Department of Art and Design awards will be presented by Professor Jackie Thaw, Chair of the department.
The Department of Art and Design recognizes the following awards. The Giza Daniels and Desha Award for Outstanding Performance in Art and Design goes to Hannah Flynn. The James O. Dumont Travel Award for Artistic Integrity in Art and Design goes to Sean Whitmack. The Mabet Prize for Special Recognition in Visual Arts Thesis goes to A.J. Aoun. The Laurie Spitz Prize for Special Recognition in Design Thesis goes to 3 people. Pooja Gandhi. Elisa Gislau. And Brandon Messiah. Actually, this prize is going to 4 people. Sammy Wu. The Techne Award for Outstanding Graduate Accomplishment in Design goes to Saba Nabila Mahin. The Art and Design Award for Artistic Accomplishment in Art and Design goes to 2 people, Yumna Enver. And Aman Kashmiri.
The Department of Dance Awards will be presented by Professor Gerald Cassell, Chair of the department.
The Department of Dance recognizes the following awards. The Patricia Mayer Award in recognition of artistic integrity and distinction goes to 2 people, Isabel Dadula and Liza Rolls Fotso. For creating works of exceptional group choreography, the Marjorie J. Turner Choreography Prize goes to 2 people, Gabrielle Cardinali Gabby's piece was also just selected to perform at Jacob's Pillow this summer, and Sarah Cipolitos.
The Filmmaking Program Awards will be presented by Professor Patrick Stetner, chair of the program.
The Rutgers Filmmaking Center recognizes the following awards. The Excellence in Filmmaking Award for overall excellence in directing, producing, screenwriting goes to Alexander Pasquale. The Artistic Distinction in Filmmaking Award for creative excellence and impact within the program goes to Anthony Graceffo.
The Department of Music Awards will be presented by Professor Amanda Eubanks-Winkler, director of the department.
The Department of Music recognizes the following awards. The Irene All Memorial Prize for a graduating doctoral student for excellence in performance and scholarly research goes to Lauren Barkey. The Arthur G. Humphrey Memorial Prize for a student, particularly in piano or organ, for outstanding work in accompanying, and the Elizabeth Wyckoff Durham Award for academic distinction and excellence in organ or piano performance goes to Christina Keller. The Michael Fardink Memorial Award for an outstanding vocalist or accompanist goes to Vincent Grania. The Ethel Gloria Kinney Memorial Prize for academic excellence and artistic accomplishment in jazz studies goes to Sean Edmonds. The A. Conrad Gvam Award in Music for Excellence in Performance on a String Instrument goes to Maya Grove. The Presser Award for a student who has achieved a high level of musical and academic excellence and has exemplified equity and inclusion values goes to Emma Rentzel. The Music Department Award for Excellence in Performance goes to Connor Morrissey.
And finally, the Department of Theater Awards will be presented by Professor David Gordon, Chair of the Department.
The Department of Theater recognizes the following awards. The Dr. Yaroslav and Grace Susan Borian Prize for a graduating theater student with the highest GPA goes to Chloe Ditloff. The Theater Department Award for Outstanding Artistic Collaboration goes to Gray St. Burdick. The Theater Department Ghostlight Award for those who embody service, citizenship, and community goes to Victoria Akinsanmi. And the John I. Bettenbender Memorial Performance Award for Outstanding Graduate Artistic Achievement goes to Brian Hilario. Congratulations.
The school-wide Scott Caganello Memorial Prize will be presented by Dean Lisa Sananjules, Assistant Dean for Advising and Student Success.
The Scott Caganello Memorial Award goes to a Mason Gross student who's given outstanding service to the Rutgers and Mason Gross community. That student this year is Gabrielle Carmela.
Now, it gives me great pleasure to announce the final award on today's program, the Mason Gross Inclusive Community Award, presented to a member of our faculty or staff who has fostered a diverse, inclusive, and equitable environment at Mason Gross. And this year's award goes to Professor Jennifer Hewson, who is a lecturer in the filmmaking department. Professor Hewson developed and teaches a course called Community Engaged Filmmaking that, along with other courses of hers, teaches students to cultivate a personal filmmaking practice defined by an ethics of care and social responsibility. Her pedagogy challenges students to reconsider the role of filmmaker as partner, listener, and co-creator. Please join me in congratulating Professor Jen Hewson. So there's one additional school-wide prize. We like our awards here. And this is the Mason Gross Commencement Convocation Mortarboard Contest Award. And here we have, because we are a school sensitive to the nuances of art, we have two prizes, one for the best minimalist presentation and one for the best maximalist presentation. So at this time, I ask our incorruptible and unbiased judge, Professor Lee Savage of the Theater Department, to present me with the sealed envelope containing the names of this year's winners. And when announced, winners, please stand, display your mortarboards. There should also be photos on the screen so you can see what they look like. And the winners will be receiving an electronic gift card after the ceremony. All right. So, the minimalist winner for 2025 is, drum roll please, Kayla Joy Joseph, who's a BFA in theater. Congratulations. And the maximalist winner for this year is, drum roll, Mackenzie Oyola, a bachelor's in music education. Congratulations. And now, it is my great pleasure to recognize the recipients of the Bachelor of Arts degrees from the class of 2025, whose names will be read by Professor Marshall Jones.
The following students are receiving Bachelor of Arts in Art. Emma Rosencliffe. The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Dance. Zoe Stefania Scoto, Summa Scotto, got it, summa cum laude. Thank you. Tamara Henderson. The following students are receiving a BA, a Bachelor of Arts in Music. Evangelia Marin. The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Theater Arts. Ian Clark, cum laude. Naya Edmonds, cum laude. Emma Karoma. No more hugs.
It's now my great pleasure to recognize the recipients of the Bachelor of Fine Arts and Bachelor of Music degrees from the class of 2025, whose names will be read by Dean Sananjules.
The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in Visual Arts. Matika Townsend, magna cum laude. BFA in Design, Olivia Pulaski. Jean Sorencione, magna cum laude. Annalisa Smith. Hannah Yoon. Chloe Anderson, summa cum laude. Emerson Eng, summa cum laude. Karen Lu Yi, summa cum laude. Christine Mabilog. Aruj Arshad, magna cum laude. Jamie Han, cum laude. Shan Shen, summa cum laude. Jamie Spaven. Stacy Sagastume Castillo, summa cum laude. Frankie Tan, summa cum laude. Rachel Patton, magna cum laude. Jillian Carbone, magna cum laude. Nicole Macnowski, summa cum laude. Pooja Gandhi, summa cum laude. Elisa Gisleo, cum laude. Brandon Messia, summa cum laude. Gabrielle Carmela, summa cum laude. Sammy Wu, summa cum laude. Ian Sanchez, cum laude. Terrell Daron. No. Tahel Daron. Sierra White, magna cum laude. Brianna Marie Riviera. Ani Berberian. Estefania Hernandez Cruz, summa cum laude. Preston Romanenko, summa cum laude. Emerson Lennox, summa cum laude. Dara Jackson, summa cum laude. Maya Rickman, magna cum laude. Messiah Walker, cum laude. Jared Hickman, magna cum laude. Robin Major, magna cum laude. Elise Jennings, magna cum laude. Stella Hamanzik, summa cum laude. Julie Davis, magna cum laude. Hannah Alaco, summa cum laude. Caitlin MacDonald, cum laude. Aiden Salandi, cum laude. Chelsea Gruskin, cum laude. Haley Curlin, cum laude. Brandon Freed, summa cum laude. Pickle Almos, summa cum laude. Hannah Flynn, Venecia, cum laude. Maggie Zhang, summa cum laude. Nico Patel, summa cum laude. Nina Tan, summa cum laude. Nava Shevitz, summa cum laude. Sarah Sunderman, cum laude. Only if you want to. Hannah Finkelstein, summa cum laude. Paige Kurzawa, cum laude. Andrea Schnack. Eve Voorhees, summa cum laude. Sophia Colagreco, magna cum laude. Luna Mondesi, cum laude. Amanda Spinweber, summa cum laude. Hope Clemens, cum laude. Matthew Cruz, cum laude. Andrew Petrosilli. Amanda Heckman, summa cum laude. May Varkamp. Rosiris Ramirez. Anthony Alexander Cromaldi IV, magna cum laude. Grace Cecilia Ignacio, cum laude. Devin Edwards, magna cum laude. Caroline Beatty, summa cum laude. AJ Alm, summa cum laude. Yumna Enver. Jocelyn Hunter Dow, summa cum laude. Aman Kashmiri, magna cum laude. Got it. M. Lakanyada, cum laude. Jake Gorey, summa cum laude. Si Mong Yan, cum laude. E. G. Wong, magna cum laude. Robinson, magna cum laude. Isabella Dutra, magna cum laude. Sean Whitmack, cum laude. Zion Zheng. Laurel Hill, cum laude. The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance. Matt Maxey. Catherine Udalova. Got it. Gianna Avino, cum laude. Alana Espinal. Sierra Garay, cum laude. Eli Guillermo, summa cum laude. Erin Micklejohn, cum laude. Lily Malacone, summa cum laude. Matthew Gao, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Rolls Fotso, magna cum laude. Isabel Dadula, summa cum laude. Sarah Zipolitos. Madison McClam. Okay. Hannah Mastro Stefano, summa cum laude. Bonnie Terenzi, magna cum laude. Camille Price, summa cum laude. Gabrielle Cardinale, summa cum laude. Ariana Montero. Sharon Martin, summa cum laude. The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Filmmaking. Izzy Froder, magna cum laude. Selma Mehmedegij, magna cum laude. Rachel Weeks, magna cum laude. Daphne Anna Sardis, summa cum laude. Taylor Renee Henderson, magna cum laude. Solange Raven Wilkins, summa cum laude. Shannon Wu, summa cum laude. Joanna Wang, summa cum laude. Terrence Leon George II. Benjamin Horner, magna cum laude. Mohammed Kadar. Zachary Veray. Luis Briseno, magna cum laude. Congratulations. Gianna Simone, cum laude. Alyssa Underwood. Jason Riata. Javier Cortez Jr. Avery Dent, cum laude. Chloe Hovanets, summa cum laude. Carrie Iwasco, summa cum laude. Robert Christ Jr., summa cum laude. Alexander Pasquale, magna cum laude. Anthony Grisefo, summa cum laude. Connor Riccardi, summa cum laude. Brenna Lawson, summa cum laude. Ram Rosal. The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Music. William Scott, cum laude. Just a minute. Dustin Simonet. Christina Keller, cum laude. Maya Grove. Connor Morrissey. Summa cum laude. Javera Chaudhry, magna cum laude. Teresa Lanzetta, cum laude. Lang. Sophia Lang, magna cum laude. Steph Haas. Crystal Harper. Julian Osa. Wall. Franklin Hansen, magna cum laude. Ryan Colarusso, summa cum laude. Ember Hess, cum laude. Mackenzie Oyola. Got it. Dominic Jickchick, cum laude. Carson De La Rosa. Jacob Herlock, magna cum laude. Bailey Eng, magna cum laude. David Weintraub, cum laude. Ryan Sandor, summa cum laude. Frankie Maceda Nieto. Haley Rogers. Sergio Ramirez Guerrero, magna cum laude. M. Savarisi, summa cum laude. Ross Matos, summa cum laude. Andrew Cardona. Gunther. Sarah Gunther. Rebecca Kornhaber. Kira De Oliveira, cum laude. Emma Rensel, cum laude. Daniel Howells, magna cum laude. Anessa Martins, magna cum laude. Brandon Meha. Isabel Tobin, summa cum laude. Ariana Hartunian Soa, magna cum laude. Colin Duncan. Jamin Chen. The following students are receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater. Emily Knapp, summa cum laude. Molly McIntough, summa cum laude. Isabella Rossi, summa cum laude. James Evans, summa cum laude. Colleen Burns, summa cum laude. Keely Saboria, cum laude. William Anderson, magna cum laude. Alyssa Aceta, cum laude. Chloe Wales, summa cum laude. Ava Lamantia, summa cum laude. Noelle Young Davis, cum laude. Charity Wilder. Got it. Kareem Brown, cum laude. Genesis Diaz. Miranda Jackal, magna cum laude. Riley Waterman. Jasper Newell, cum laude. Victoria Akinsami, summa cum laude. Gray St. Burdick, summa cum laude. Chloe Ditloff, summa cum laude. Colton Libertor. Mackenzie Camara, magna cum laude. Kayla Joy Joseph, summa cum laude. J. Austin Fry, cum laude. Evelyn Zubek. Dina Katz, summa cum laude. Daisy Toralba Osorio, magna cum laude. Scarpa. Caitlin Scarpa, summa cum laude. Sophia Hoyt, summa cum laude. Brienne Stulak, cum laude. Harrison Rachel, magna cum laude. Jessica Chiarella, magna cum laude. Pauline Louis, magna cum laude. Rachel Sydney Goldberg. Jason Apora, magna cum laude. Brooklyn Julia Wall, summa cum laude.
One more time for this group of graduates. Exciting. Congratulations. It is now my honor to recognize those students from Mason Gross School of the Arts who have completed their work toward the Master of Fine Arts, Master of Music, and the Master of Dance Education.
The following students are receiving a Master of Fine Arts in Visual Arts and Design. Elisa Sakelianas Carter. Emily Drew Miller. Rachel Malvahill. Fiaz Yusuf. John De Leon Martin. Are you excited? Jaleel Marquise Courchet. Jonathan Allen Wilborn. Got it. Saba Nabila Maheen. Natalie Romero. Sophia Yemisi Adiomo. Echo. Ian Byers Gamber. Quinn Isaacs. Harley Hollenstein. Patricia Jose Morocho Padilla. Daniel Chancellor Lucal. The following students are receiving a Master of Education in Dance. Catherine Wolgin. Grace McCombs. Catherine Stabe. Amanda Osborne. Brielle Castaldi. Madison Meza. Evangelina Sandoval. Deja Darden. Katie Bateman. The following students are receiving a Master of Fine Arts in Playwriting. Brian Hilario. The students are receiving a Master of Music. Byron DeLeon. Jessica Danielle Vargas. Emiliano Moreno. Anzi G. Lucas B. Wakus. Joshua Gabriel Prasad. Graham Thomas Harris. Jeremy Leon. Taj Amir Walsh. Melanie P. Mayerson. Natalie Tews. Spencer M. Brooks.
Next, I'd like to recognize the success of our students graduating with the Artist Diploma. And these names will be read by Ellen Bredehoft, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs.
Lu Wong, Artist Diploma in Opera.
Finally, I'd like to recognize the success of our Doctor of Musical Arts students. They will be hooded by Robert Groman, Coordinator of Graduate Studies and Assistant Teaching Professor in the Music Department, and Karina Brook, Teaching Instructor in Music.
Adrian Lauren Nichols Baker, Doctor of Musical Arts and Flute Performance. Major Professor Bart Feller. Rebecca Danielle Carew, Doctor of Musical Arts and French Horn Performance. Major Professor David Peel. Elizabeth R. Ando, Doctor of Musical Arts and French Horn Performance, Major Professor Leland Lee Sterrett. Brandon Lewis Keith Spradlin, Doctor of Musical Arts and Clarinet Performance, Major Professor Maureen Hurd. Julian Brandon Mueller, Doctor of Musical Arts and Cello Performance, Major Professor Jonathan Spitz. Mark Sirkin, Doctor of Musical Arts and Cello Performance, Major Professor Jonathan Spitz. Lauren Rose Barkey, Doctor of Musical Arts and Voice Performance, Major Professor Eduardo Chama. Vincent Arcadio Grania, Doctor of Musical Arts and Voice Performance, Major Professor Eduardo Chama. Ashlyn Sprague Udell, Doctor of Musical Arts and Music Education, Major Professor Stephanie Cronenberg. Tyler Adele, Doctor of Musical Arts and Music Education, Major Professor Stephanie Cronenberg. Unmi Moon, Doctor of Musical Arts and Collaborative Piano Performance, Major Professor Barbara. Unjin Zhang, Doctor of Musical Arts and Voice Performance, Major Professor Eduardo Chama. Yu Ouyang, Doctor of Musical Arts and Violin Performance, Major Professor Karmit Zori. Dongfang Wen, Doctor of Musical Arts and Piano Performance, Major Professor John Perry. Yu Ning Lai, Doctor of Musical Arts and Violin Performance, Major Professor Todd Phillips. Ju Yeon Kim, Doctor of Musical Arts and Cello Performance, Major Professor Jonathan Spitz. Yubin Chun, Doctor of Musical Arts and Cello Performance, Major Professor Jonathan Spitz.
I would also like to congratulate our PhD graduates whose degrees are conferred by the School of Graduate Studies. Would they please come to the stage for congratulations, if present?
Zhua Zhao, Doctor of Philosophy and Music Theory, Major Professor Christopher Dahl. Myong Jin Oh, Doctor of Philosophy and Musicology, Major Professor Rebecca Sipis.
And now, let's congratulate all of today's degree recipients. Congratulations. And now I'd like to introduce Emma Rinsel, who will lead a student choir in the singing of the alma mater, the words for which are printed on page 3 of your program. So this brings the 49th Commencement Convocation of the Mason Gross School of the Arts to a close. I hope you'll join us for a reception that will take place in the Civic Square lobby. The recessional will be played by the Rutgers Scarlet Knight Trombones under the leadership of Professor Mark Stasio, and I'd like to thank the ensemble for its musical offerings this afternoon. Thank you. And I know you're not Mark Stasio, so thank you very much. Finally, I want to thank everyone who's had a hand in putting together this afternoon's ceremony. Most of all, our assistant to the dean and the organizer of this year's event, Christopher Wolf. Stand up, Christopher. And I also want to thank all of our faculty and staff for their hard work in helping our graduates reach this point. But most of all, I want to thank all of you for being here and for the countless ways in which you've nurtured and supported our graduates along their journey. One final housekeeping item. Audience, please remain in place until the faculty and students have filed out of the hall. And now to the graduates. May the world be kind to you, and may you be kind to the world, taking with you the skills, the training, and the pride of accomplishment that comes from being a graduate of Mason Gross. And while you may be leaving us, you'll always have a home here on the banks, along with an important role to play in upholding the values and the excellence that define Mason Gross and Rutgers. And I can't wait to see how you live out that responsibility. Congratulations again, Mason Gross, class of 2025.